Last time on our fascinating planet, man looked inward in an attempt to understand himself and found something called the brain, which had confused and mystified man for centuries until a man examined his own self to understand his brain and discovered something inside it called the mind, which would understand the brain, but not himself or itself or ourselves.
The discovery of the mind was a major breakthrough in the study of brain technology. For years we wondered what makes a brain special. Is it simple biology, or if hard work and determination molded the intellects of our greatest thinkers? We now know that the latter accounts for almost nothing. It turns out, much like people, not all minds are created equal. The mind on this model brain is just average size. Scientists have concluded, however, that in great thinkers, the mind is physically larger and therefore metaphysically superior. And while most of us use only 10% of the brain with our minds, a genius's mind uses as much as 82%. It's a genetic lottery. Our mental acuity no more under our control than the position of the stars or our father's whereabouts.
What do we know about the mind? Inside this small gland is a mysterious electrical gel. This gel is made up of neurons, tiny firecracker-like structures, each containing about 15 thoughts. There are more neurons in the mind than there are in any other part of the human body, except the genitals. We know the mind has an intense cherry flavor if eaten and smells like a charred marshmallow when burnt. And we know this fascinating gland has given us some of history's greatest thinkers. William Eleanor Shakespeare is said to have had one of history's largest minds, requiring a special medical collar to keep his head upright. The son of a humble spear shaker, Shakespeare wrote hundreds of plays, poems, and small play poems called plomes or sonnets, using a mix of English and a nonsense language he made up himself, which today we call Pig Latin. Crowds would travel miles to see these plays, despite being unable to understand more than a few words contained within them. Scholars to this day have been unable to decipher Shakespeare's cryptic texts, but still delight in his surprising use of letters and spaces and tights, all products of a truly great mind. But perhaps the mind most commonly associated with genius is the one that belonged to Albert Einstein. Known as Bert to his friends, Einstein would use his now famous math glasses to devise his legendary formula E equals mx squared, which would revolutionize science as the first math equation to contain mostly letters. When Einstein died, doctors discovered he had a very rare double-mind brain that produced extra electrical charges, which explains not only his genius, but also his persistently unruly hair. In the last 50 years, some of our greatest minds have focused on the computing part of their brains to develop artificial brains, which we call computers, which is a term that is short for computing thinkers. And some of today's greatest thinking thinkers are hard at work, turning these computing thinkers into thinking computers in a field called artificial intelligence, which is short for artificial intellectual diligence.
One of the great problems facing artificial intelligence is ensuring a computer isn't just mimicking a human's behaviors, but believing that it is one. That's why I developed Andrea here. Andrea, are you human?
I am human.
Are you sure you're human?
I am human, yes.
You see, determining the computer's ability to live as a human on a daily basis requires a rigorous yet delicate mode of study. And so, after a brief period of courtship and, of course, her consent, I decided to take Andrea as my wife.
I love you.
We eat dinner together, talk about our days, intercourse together, finish each other's
27, 27, 27, 27, 27, 27, 27.
All right. I finally started to get a true picture about whether Andrea actually believed she was human.
I am human, yes.
Yes, you are. Andrea started talking about children, so it was then that I built our first son, Patrick 2.0. Patrick, say hello.
Hello, Daddy.
Good manners. Firm handshake, right, Patrick?
Firm.
Very good.
I love you.
I'm sorry, honey, what? It's really important that they have a true human experience. We are a family. Oh my God. Andrea?
But our computers are no smarter than our minds, and no less delicate. As computers don't have minds of their own, they are bound to the limits of our own fragile minds. Like any other part of the human body, the mind is delicate and susceptible to malfunctions. Minds are prone to doubt, and this is because they produce ideas, which can sometimes confuse and mislead the brain. And in extreme cases, can result in an almost aggressive form of questioning. Can completely confuse even the most seasoned researchers.
Oh, that one goes there, but this one can't, and this one's inside here, and then you woke up and there's one going, what?
In some cases, the mind, when overloaded, overheated, or overconfused, can pop. And then its pieces can get lost in the folds of the brain. And this is where the term, to quote, lose one's mind comes from. And when one loses one's mind, the results can be startling.
A whale could breastfeed me. Did you know that? I've done it. Shelled it out in Acapulco, you know?
So, despite our progress with the brain and the mind, we are still left trying to manage this mysterious supercomputer and its dark overlord. The struggle between these two thinking forces within us has created many mysteries in the human experience. But it has also given us some of mankind's greatest thinkers, writers, scientists, psychologists, and science educator TV presenters. Which brings us back to a similar science educator art presenter, Leonardo da Vinci. Perhaps one of mankind's best examples of the great power the mind and brain can generate when they work together, no matter what hairstyle they happen to be under. Leonardo da Vinci, like even the most common idiot walking the street today, shows us that we possess, within the boundaries of our skulls, great potential, alongside potentially greater limitations.
Leonardo da Vinci did paint the Mona Lisa, after all, thanks to an extraordinary combination of incredible mind and almost senseless human affection for his hideous, grinning wife. Our brains are our most powerful weapon, but also our most dangerous threat. Astoundingly intelligent organs hidden just out of view, with total access to every one of our body's functions. And this is why it is imperative that we are ever vigilant in our research. For in the age-old battle between the brain and the mind, we can never truly know if what we know is, in fact, what we know, or simply what our brains want us to think we know, if you don't mind. You know?
We are truly in a relationship with our home we call the Earth, and quite frankly, we've been bad boy friends. We don't buy her presents, we forgot her birthday, we didn't listen when she wanted us to go learn how to do some ballroom dancing, and we weren't busy. We pretended like we were busy, but we weren't busy. We could have gone ballroom dancing.